So UFC Kansas City is this weekend, and they have a really great main event in Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. It was formerly Hill versus Roundtree, but who cares about that now? But yeah, we have Ian Garry versus Prates, and I honestly think it's one of the most interesting matchups. Like we have a well-rounded, good mixed martial artist in Ian Garry, and then on the other side we have a Muay Thai specialist in Carlos Prates, who smokes about 60 fags a day. Like, what the fuck? But I do think that will affect him in the later rounds. But yeah, some people just adapt to it. But this fight is really intriguing. Just the sheer power of Carlos Prates. Like, he touches people and they die. It doesn't even have to be clean. He touches them on the side of the head, they just flat, out cold. And then on one side we have Ian Garry, who's, I wouldn't say he's really good at anything, but he's really good at mixing it up, and he's very high level at sort of takedowns. I honestly think his grappling is better than his striking, and his striking is it's good, but it's not as high level as we all thought. Like, he was saying he's one of the best strikers in the sport at the MVP press conference. He's not. He's really not. And then on Carlos Prates' side, I do just think his striking is that good. Just the way he sets everything up. But we'll get into that in the breakdown. So we'll go straight into Ian Garry. His grappling is really good. Like, he was reversing positions against Shavkat. Shavkat couldn't take him down and just pretty much smudged him against the cage. It was a very boring, dull fight, and it's like people are really choosing Ian Garry mostly off of that performance, but it's not like they had a war. It was literally, for the first two rounds, Ian just stared at him, and it was a bad performance by both of them. That needs to be said. But I do think in the MVP fight, he did show good grappling. Like, he took the back really well. He had both hooks in, a body triangle. There was even a moment against Shavkat where he had the back and he was sort of using his, like, back foot to try and knock him off balance on his main base of his foot. And it was really high level stuff, to be fair. So you can tell that he's been training with Charles Oliveira. He really could just take him down, Carlos Prates down, and just fucking molest him down there if he really wanted to. But we'll get into his issues, because Carlos Prates has really good takedown defense, and we'll get into that when we get onto Carlos Prates. So can Ian Garry get it down is the question, and we'll get into all this at the end and who I'm choosing to win the fight. But yeah, on with striking. Ian Garry has some of the most like lethal kicks shown inside of the Neil Magny fight. And just one thing to just say now. Even though we hate Ian Garry, he is everything wrong with modern society. We gotta respect the fact that he took a fight against a dangerous opponent in Prates on short notice. But yeah, get back into the kicks. Just the way he was using his kicks and just nullified anything Neil Magny did was wild. And you could argue that he did beat Neil Magny better than Prates because he schooled him round to round to round. Meanwhile, Prates was pretty much just getting smudged against the fence and got a KO. Yeah. And his kicks, but he is very open to shots, and it's that on the next slide, or is that the range control one? Yeah, his range control. He uses his lead hand, gets his range really well. He'll mix up his kicks to like the leg, body, a lot of the header quite a bit too, but he does mix it up. And yeah, we'll get into his main flaws, which is, he's good circling too. I forgot to mention that too. Like, he does circle out really well too. It's circling. What do you want me to say? He circles out of range really well. Right. Ian Garry straight up gives up too much ground, and against Prates, he cuts off the cage so well. He will get you on the fence, and it's up to you what you do there. And Ian Garry, really, he gets put there so often. Against Shavkat, he just took him down. against Prates, he's going to be going like left to the body, left upstairs, using that knee, his teep, his fucking inside kick, and then mixing it body head too. Like, he's so good at that type of stuff, and it's a dangerous place to be against Prates on the fence. You don't want to be there against Prates like on the fence. But we'll move on to Ian Garry's other flaw, which is he just get hit a lot against southpaws, especially a southpaw that's shorter than him with a less reach. I'm pretty sure Neil had a less reach. If you watch this fight without commentary, because the commentary on this fight was so bad, you can really see that Neil was really catching him, and it was such a close fight because he was catching him that often. He gave him a nosebleed as well in the first round, I think, or second round it was, and yeah, he mixed it up really well. Ian really just leg kicked and kept on moving and using his footwork. His footwork's pretty decent, but he does have a bad habit of circling into the power side of southpaws, which is, you don't want to be doing that, especially against Prates. You do that, you die. But we'll move on to another thing that he does wrong. Well, there's another example of him getting popped as he circled into the right side, I believe. No, that's his left hand. Yeah, he rung the hook. I can't remember all the scenarios, so yeah, I'm just getting screenshots to sort of remind myself at the same time. Well, we'll get straight into Prates. Prates is genuinely a really good counter puncher. He will back up a little bit and catch you with crosses as you blitz in. We'll get into that because that's one of his weaknesses too. When you put the pressure on him, he doesn't like it. Against Li Jingliang, he beat the literal shit out of him. He was literally just let you come in, and then right hand, left cross behind it, and he was rocking Li Jingliang so often in that fight. It was genuinely sad to watch because I do like Li Jingliang, and he is a high level kickboxer, I think, Li Jingliang. Yeah, and then here he rocked him, and then he finished the fight. That picture is horrifying. And yeah, and he did slump out cold. Again, what do you see? He's on the cage. You can't be there. When Ian Garry backs up so well and just gives up ground so often, he is just going to find that thing and just KO you if you back up against him. You really don't want to be doing that against Prates, but I've shown that now. Right, another thing I want to mention about Prates is his kicks, and mainly his rear side attacks from southpaw. So what he does quite a bit is that he uses his rear kick, body kick, head kick, and sometimes the leg kick on their right leg if they're orthodox. He can do that. I've seen him do it one time, one of his fights, but I didn't screenshot it like a dickhead. He does mix it up really well, and as well he does also use obviously the teep, but that knee down the centre we finished Radke with. That knee down the centre was fucking brutal. It really was brutal. And yeah, that was done. That knee is done. I do think that knee is going to be open against Ian Garry. Like, if we go back to some of the images, like, say here, where Jeff Neal hit him with that cross, something Prates would do is grab the back of his shoulder here and push his left knee into his solar plex. And I don't know how tough Ian Garry is, but it's going to be very hard to tough that out. You've got to be next level of toughing shit out to get hit in the solar plex and just wait it out until you get your feeling back. But yeah, back to Prates with his kick and his knee. And then I guess is this the flaws now, or am I still doing? Oh yeah, takedown defense. He has amazing takedown defense. Like, by the sounds of the interviews with Ian Garry, it does feel like he is going to be taking him down. He's like, I'm going to take him down and absolutely maul him. But it's at the same time, it's like, will he? Because it's very hard to take down Prates. It's not going to be an easy task. Like, obviously, also leg kicks from Li Jingliang. I've mixed the fucking slides up, but this should have been at the end. But he does struggle against leg kicks, Prates. He doesn't react well to them at all. And I'll make that one quick because I've fucked up the slides. But yeah, alright, this is actually weaknesses. But yeah, I've mixed it all up. I should have put the Neil Magny fight next, but I haven't. But yeah, this is weaknesses now. So yeah, he's shown leg kick weaknesses. He doesn't react well to the leg kick at all. He doesn't defend them that well either. He sort of just punches through them, which is, it can work because he's so long, but it might not work. And it's sort of one of them things that'll work until it's not working. Here against Giles. Giles was low-key piecing Prates up by literally just letting him come forward, and then just running forwards with just right hook, left hook, right hand, and it was working. It was genuinely working. Like, you could tell Prates wasn't looking the same, but at the same time, it's like, obviously he's not going to look the same. He's been punched in the head, and I assume Giles hits hard. Like, you can look at his back, but that's what Giles does. And then there's another example here. He tries to come into the clinch and he just gets popped right in the chin with a jab. And that jab clearly fucking stings him. And you can also look here. He tried to enter the clinch with his outside foot position on the inside. That's not something he should be doing. It should be on the outside. But yeah, and obviously Giles punished him for that. So now we can get into the Neil Magny fight. I can't believe I fucked up the slides that badly and made myself look like a right dickhead. But in this fight, Neil Magny had a style of, I'm going to grapple fuck this guy. And that's fair enough. I think that's the way you need to beat him. But he showed great takedown defense. Such here. So Neil Magny is on a single leg here. And Prates is hopping round to the back, trying to stop the momentum, because you got to think, Magny is trying to push him to his left, which is this side, and Prates is hopping this side to stop the momentum pushing him this side. So he did a really good job of that. And then he also hopped to the fence, and he also did this sort of drop. Did I screenshot the drop? Yeah, he did drop. I can't remember how he did it. I think Magny actually lost his balance and just sort of fell over. But I think it was actually a trip that actually got Magny on the floor here. But he got on the guard, didn't really do much in the guard, and just stood back up after like a minute or 30 seconds, around that time frame. Just got back up, waved him up, and that was that. And then he got back on the feet and knocked him out. And then there's here where this takedown is pretty much done, and Prates was hopping on one leg and his balance was so good. I don't understand how you can be that lanky and just strong at the same time. Like we saw against, like, I'm going to use Peyton Talbot as an example. Because he's a big bantamweight. But it's more because he's long. And we saw against, what's that guy's name? Barcelos, an actually underrated fighter, by the way. That he was just using his strength. He just looked so much stronger than Peyton. Do I think Ian Garry is so much stronger than Prates? I think Prates is bigger than Ian. Ian doesn't look that big. He's got like that sort of soy boy fucking vegan diet, hasn't he? That his wife is so obviously promoting because she just wants the end of him. The poor guy, he needs to get out of that relationship. But we're not talking about his relationship today. We're talking about Prates' balance, which is probably a lot more shit, to be honest. Yeah, his balance is really good. That's what you want me to say. His balance is really good. Go watch the Magny fight, and his balance is so fucking good. So main takeaways from this matchup and breakdown is Ian Garry is a great kickboxer. Well, I wouldn't say great. He's a good kickboxer. He's fairly average kickboxing, but his grappling's really high level. But the takedown is not that good. His jiu-jitsu is really good. He trains with Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is probably going to be in his corner, which is just, stop trying to make me hate Charles Oliveira, Ian Garry. You know what I mean? I like Ian Garry. Charles Oliveira, not Ian Garry. I'm hoping he gets knocked out in this fight. Prates is going to sort of be... I think Prates probably knows what he's going to do, which is just grapple fuck him. And I think he's going to be aware of that. And I know it is on 3 weeks' notice and he hasn't been training grappling. But the thing is, he was scheduled to fight... what was his name? Jeff Neal. We just spoke about him earlier. And Jeff Neal does mix in his takedown. So he's definitely been training takedown defense. And yeah. So if you want my opinion of this fight, it's a 50-50. It could really go either way. If you told me you think Ian Garry's going to grapple fuck him, I'd argue he wouldn't, but I wouldn't blame you for thinking he's going to win. If you told me you think Pratt is going to knock him out in the first round, I honestly wouldn't argue with you either. It's genuinely a 50-50 matchup, and I do think the key to victory here, I've added right here. Ian Garry needs to grapple, and I put an exclamation there because that's a key thing. Low kicks too, keeping him at his range. But I do think Carlos is a longer fighter. I should have probably looked at the length of each fighter, but I didn't do that. But he should be using his low kicks, controlling the range, which he does so well. Pressure too, just every now and then, just blitz in, try and get the hands up or whatever, and shoot underneath and get a very strong takedown, which actually on the Contender Series is what happened. He got taken down by a guy in the Contender Series who was undefeated. He knocked him out, Prates knocked him out, but the guy he was fighting got a very strong grip of the double leg and picked him up and fucking dunked him. And he got back up and he showed really good get-ups there, which is another thing. I should have screenshot these two, but and put them on the slide. But yeah, he showed really good takedown defense, really good get-ups. I don't know how many times I've said that. You should probably count and put that in the comment section, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think pressure, getting his hands to come, try and block his face, and then shooting underneath, a bit like the Bilal against Leon. That's pretty much all he did the entire fight. And as well, just circling away from the left hand. You don't want to be next to that fucking thing. That left hand is genuinely scary. Like, you can say whatever they want against Prates, but fucking hell, that left hand is terrifying. And then for Carlos Prates, it's pretty fucking obvious. If you watch this fight and you actually know what you're watching, cage cutting. He needs to pretty much pressure Garry, get him up to the fence, and just set up that left hand, go body a few times, slow him down. He's on 3 weeks' notice. And you got to think, if he's took the fight on 3 weeks' notice, he must be training every day. He must be trying to get better. He's clearly not just taking the fight on 3 weeks' notice because he feels like it. He's taking the fight on 3 weeks' notice because he feels like he's been training, he can win the fight. And it's like, okay, you haven't had a proper cardio training at a strength and conditioning in a training camp, but he has been training. But so Prates can slow him down by attacking the body, which will also set up his KO shot with his left hand. And as well, he can do his left kicks, which is, I've already went over that. Let's get back onto that. So he can use his left kick, body kick, his left leg kick on the inside of Ian's orthodox stance. His head kick too. His head kick as well, that would be really good for him. And obviously his teep. And then when he gets him, if he pressures him on the cage enough, he can obviously land that knee. But then, obviously the issue might arouse itself that the takedown. And you need to be ready to take that takedown, so you can't get too close to him. Obviously you defend the takedowns. I honestly have no problem. I think Prates will defend the takedowns. And obviously his left kicks. I've already mentioned the left kicks. And if you were to ask me who do I think is going to win this matchup, to be honest, I'm leaning Carlos Prates by like, if I was going to edit this again, I'd put 49% Ian and 51% Prates. But yeah, this is a really close matchup. If you're betting, don't bet. You're just going to lose money regardless, unless you're really fucking lucky. But yeah, I think Prates is going to win. I think he's going to knock him out in the second round or third round. Maybe a TKO, actually. Maybe a TKO. But Prates is genuinely one of those like terrifying guys in the welterweight division. I do think he will beat Ian Garry. I think Ian Garry is a bit over emotional. We've never seen Ian Garry like this in a fight build up ever, calling him a quitter and that. He does seem a little bit on edge, I think, anyway. But tell me what you think in the comments, and is there anything I missed? Yeah, and I've just fucking bashed my hand off the desk. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Subscribe, and I'll get the full card prediction video out tomorrow morning.